So Alan, you know, just with your experience, how does the nutrition of a calf from say day 1 to week 12, how does it vary across that period?
Well, I think the main thing is, number one thing is correct colostrum. Number one is make sure we're getting the correct colostrum into the calf.
What do you mean by that? Is it
the quality of colostrum?
Yeah.
So everybody really, I would say, buy a reflectometer, test your colostrum. You'll tend to find that your heifer colostrum isn't as good as your second and third calvers. Your second and third calving cows is your best colostrum. It's got your immunity from your herd that will go into your calf. So number one, good colostrum. On the nutrition side, there's big debates about skim powder and whey powder. Okay. And we always used to feed, and I'm sure it's the same now, and we always used to feed a whey powder. And one of the reasons we're doing that is because whey powder was £400 or £500 cheaper than skim. But the balance between the two products have actually, the cost of the products has actually balanced up over this last 5-10 years. And there's been a massive swing to skim powder. We personally as a company, we sell both, but we prefer a skim powder. Reason being, it digests as a solid, it will go into the abomasum, it will clot, slowly digest, and the calf's getting all the nutrition out of that milk. So feeding from a 25% skim upwards, we've got a number of powders feeding at 25% up to 50%. But yeah, dead important is to make sure that you've got a good solid milk powder. And when I say that, you want your fat and your protein levels to be, your protein levels want to be over 21%. Your fat levels really want to be over 18% to be a good quality powder. There are some powders, everything with milk powder, everybody wants to actually reinvent the wheel all the time, and sometimes that can be detrimental. There has been a big push, and we do a high fat powder. High fat powders are absolutely fine in the winter, but what we found in the summer, they actually don't need the energy. Obviously fat is energy, so they actually don't need that. So you've actually got to, you know, maybe balance powders from certain times of years, but a good quality skim powder, fed at a 15% mixing rate, I would say is where you want to be. First of all, good colostrum management, make sure that colostrum is good. If your colostrum is a little bit weaker, so it is for heifer, don't be afraid of adding a colostrum substitute to it. With colostrum substitutes, they never replace the real thing, and I won't have anybody say that they will. You can't beat Mother Nature's colostrum, but to add to it is really good.
With what?
With a supplement product.
Yeah.
So I'd say our product it's a 60% harvested cow's colostrum. Okay. But that's a standard cow colostrum. Obviously, your colostrum from the farm, from the herd, has got all your immunities into it, which will then pass on to the calves. So again, I'm saying the good, but good colostrum management is the key.
So what else are you offering to the calf in terms of a muesli or a hay or?
Yeah, I would say. There's some like the muesli. I prefer the pellets actually. I am an 18% calf starter pellet. We like that as a company. Reason being, you'll increase your intakes a little bit. With the muesli, which is great, it works really well, but you tend to pick a little bit. So the calves will pick the molasses pieces out or the corn pieces out, and then you'll get some meal that's not left. So I prefer actually the calf starter pellet, the little pellet, going on after about a fortnight to 3 weeks to a larger pellet, but keep them at about that 18%. We don't need to go any higher. We've got to be a little bit careful with high protein powders and high protein pellets that we don't overdo the calves. Obviously at that stage there's only the abomasum working, so the rumen isn't working yet. So on the feed side, on the hay side, I would say good quality straw up until the weaning. I would say keep away from the hay.
Why?
Well, hay's a little bit too good for them. And what they'll tend to do, if good quality hay, the calves will nibble like mad. It then goes into the abomasum and it bulks them up. So basically they won't eat as much concentrate. So if you may see some calves that are fed really good hay that they've go a little bit bloated, a little bit thin on the back but bloated, and that's basically because they're loving the hay, they enjoy it, but they're actually not getting the feed value from it. So good quality straw. What we want with the straw, we want the scratch effect. So basically we want them to eat a little bit, just nibble about it, get that cutting going, get that going into the rumen, get that rumen starting to circulate, start to grow. If we grow calf stomachs, I always say, if we can grow a calf stomach, and that is by good quality straw going into them, good quality feed going into them, if the stomach's good and strong and big, so the calf will be, because obviously one feeds the other.
In terms of a method of feeding then, say a system like this, or have you a preference for an automatic feeder?
Yeah, automatic feeders are fantastic, they work really well. They are costly, okay? With these units, it's a little bit more difficult. I like the simple unit. I like a twice a day feeding system, feeding up to 2.5 to 3 litres each end of the day. Computerised feeders are very good. They work really well, but it's not the computerised feeder that has what creates the problems. It's the environment where the computerised feeders are kept. So if you think about it, with here we've got one group of calves in, feeding from the same. Each one comes with its own teat feeder, so we're not swapping teat feeders. So it's all drinking from the same group. They're not passing anything on to each other. If we had with an automatic feeder, we had a calf building with 20, you can up to 25 calves per feeding station, and you're adding calves in all the time. So you've got young calves mixing with older calves, but also you get a build-up of bacteria. You can't tend to clean those sheds out. So it's not the calf machines that cause the problem, it's the environment they're into that often causes the problem. The calf machines are really clever pieces of kit. They feed several times a day, little and often, all works, but it's the environment that's so hard to keep it right in the calf machines.
Aside from the environment, are people getting the benefit labour-wise? Are they saving labour? A lot of people are buying it for the labour reason. Are they getting the benefit from it?
I actually think we've had calf machines. We've done trial work with calf machines. They're actually, I think, labour time it takes about the same. So if you think about it, with an automatic feeder, with a computerised feeder, obviously putting your milk in is not a big job. It automatically washes itself out. But really, you need to be going onto your hand control and checking through your list of calves to see the drinking speeds, to see if they've been to it, how many visits they've done. By the time you've done that, you've actually gone in and fed the calves. And with these systems, we know straight away, you put the teat feeder in, you see all these 4 calves are drinking like mad now. Say if one of these calves had left it early or hadn't come to the feeder, we know straight away there's a problem with that calf. Take its temperature, see if there's anything wrong with it. But both systems work well. And again, labour is a massive one. I understand that labour is getting more of an issue on farms. But what we kind of say is, you can feed 100 calves here within 25 minutes, because what we can do is bring a milk trolley. Yeah. So we mix it in the dairy, mix the milk up, bring it in with a quad bike, or however. We've got people going down each feeder. So labour-wise, I actually don't think the calf machine computerised feeders actually save a lot, because you've actually still got to work with those systems and check those systems. They've worked really well. I have no criticism with them. It's just that, horses for courses.
And they may be compensating for labour where there's varying qualities of labour, maybe, or you have
100%, 100%. And I think sometimes calves can get left. Yeah. So you go to a bigger group more than we always say 10 calves is the maximum in a group you should be keeping, really, because you get 25 calves in a group, you will miss them. Doesn't matter how much you look at them, you might miss that calf that you're feeding, and then you go into the next group and you're feeding that. And especially with a calf machine, a computerised feeder, if you're not looking down that list to see drinking speeds, and that's one thing I used to do all the time, was check your drinking speeds. And if that drinking speed is dropping between 90% straight away, that's the first sign of illness with the calf. But they are a clever piece of machinery, I've got no doubt about that.
The weaning process, what's your recommendation on the weaning process?
So on the weaning side, what we tend to say is feed twice a day, up to 3 litres twice a day, up to 3.5 litres twice a day if you really want to push the calves. When you come to weaning, I've got a golden figure of monitor your concentrate intake. So once they're eating 1.5 kilos of dry feed, that's your concentrate, your pellets, you can start actually put them onto once a day. That's a very simple process, and some calves you'll find they'll do that at 8 weeks. Some may take a little bit longer, depending if they've had a little bit of an issue or not, or a problem or not. But if they're eating 1.5 kilos of concentrate, put them onto once a day. So basically keep the same mixing rate. Don't dilute your milk, because if you dilute your milk, they're going to be full of water. Water's a carrier to get the powder into the calf. So you feed it just once a day and not feed them in the afternoon. They've got the water, they've got the concentrate, ad-lib concentrate at that time, they've got the straw. Do that for about a week, 10 days, and then take them off it. And I'm all for a brook weaning. Once they're, what we want to do with a calf is a calf doubles its body weight up to weaning. So, you've got a 45 kilo calf born, and you're weaning at 85, 90 kilos. So never in that lifetime will that animal put as much weight, it won't double its body weight in that short period of time. So it's important to do it right. And we want that graph to go like that. So as that graph keeps going, we don't want it to drop off at weaning. So the important thing is to make sure you monitor your dry feed intake so that they will compensate not having milk, but they'll eat more concentrate for doing that, and you'll find that growth pattern keeps going, and you'll calve cows earlier, and that's what we're looking to do. All the hidden costs with heifer rearing, it's all the hidden costs. You know, we think we can maybe save X amount, it's not. It's the hidden cost of lacking in getting cows calving at 2 years old, or not getting them in calf, etc. That's where your massive cost is.
Right. Combining, say, a housing system like this with a farmer who wants to graze his calves as their pre-weaning or a weaning period, can you facilitate that?
You could actually. What you could do actually, what you could do is actually have an outside system where you could actually take the front gate off, or let the front gate come open, and if they've got back into, they could actually then come in at night, or take the front gate. You could have 2 or 3 of these outside on a system, three or 4 units without the front gates on, just bed them up, so they can actually then. And then have maybe 1 unit where you can put your feeder onto, and then they can just come in to drink and then go back out. So there's all different ways of doing it. We also have systems where within each individual pen you can have actually individual pens. So we could have a starter unit. So within these starter units, there's 3. We have a unit just the same as we don't have a front gate, but we put 3 units, 3 individual calf pens, which are double calf pens, so holds up to 6 calves, and we can put them in there for a week, 10 days, and then we can put them into the multi groups.
Okay. And a question that some people will have, or it's a routine they have: do you heat your water that's making your powder, milk or whatever, or do you some farmers are obviously feeding it cold. Which is best?
For me personally, we always say feed it body temperature. And there's a simple reason why. Milk replacer is called milk replacer. We're replacing cow's milk, so we're trying to imitate that as much as we can. So it will mix cold. There's no problem with it mixing cold. But if you imagine it, you put cold milk into a baby calf or into a calf, it actually goes into the abamazon, it sits there cold, and the calf has got to really warm that milk up so it starts to digest. So it sits there longer. It uses a number of megajoules of energy to actually heat that milk to digest it, where that energy can be helping the calf grow. So if you can feed at body temperature, I definitely suggest you do. It is worth it. And have a simple system, have your boiler set at 40 degrees, mix your milk in a mixer, straight to the calf. You would see difference between, I know a lot of people feed it cold. I would suggest you would notice a difference if you didn't. I know it's another job, but we're trying to remember that the calf doubles its body weight in such a short period of time. We want to get all the benefit we can out of that milk powder. We're selling 25% skims, 50% skims. We want that powder to be as efficient to that calf, to the customer as possible. And to do that, it is better feeding it, at body temperature. If you can't feed it at body temperature, try and make sure that temperature is the same every day. So if you could only feed it at 20 degrees, if it's 20 degrees every day, it's better. Cold water can be -2 or...
Yeah, huge variation.
It's a variation, and putting your hand in on a cold day, it will feel warm, but it won't be.
Yeah.
So to monitor that, all our mixers, one of the things, I will not sell a mixer without a thermometer gauge. It's just a simple process, big thermometer gauge, put it in, and you know what it's doing then. So yeah, definitely if you can, feed it warm, feed it at body temperature.
Okay.
It definitely works.
Okay, perfect.